back. Divest and sanction Israel. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. I started this tradition on Monday streams about a month ago when the violence and bloodshed towards Palestinians was especially bad on the day. Just to highlight that, just to try and use my small little platform in a way that I could there. And every Monday since, there has been occasion to do it again. Because the violence never stops. The machine never stops. And even though we tonight stand on the precipice of ostensibly a chance to change the direction of our nation, for many, many people, not just in Palestine but around the world, there will be no change in the way our country treats them, in the way our capitalists treat them, in the way our military treats them, in the way our security state, the various three-letter agencies treat them. So even though tomorrow is going to be a great big fun day as far as finding out what flavor of jingoistic bile will be forced to choke down for the next 4 years, we at least today, on election eve, in my opinion, can and should center the Palestinians one last time. There's a saying that I hope many white people will be familiar with. It goes, "There for the grace of God go I. There for the grace of God go I." If you're able to watch a Twitch stream, you probably got a pretty good spawn point. You probably happen to be fortunate enough to just materialize into existence somewhere where, that's pretty good. Or that's not so bad. But a lot of people don't get such a good spawn point. And then they end up being fuel for our nation's bloody, bloody machine. Not just a military one. Everyone loves talking about the military-industrial complex. But the machine is far bloodier. The machine is American capital. And what American capital wants, American capital gets. So it's been since the founding of our great nation. And so again, while I get ready to finish filling out my vault, and while it's technically full now, because I have 2 10s, I want to try and get 4 10s if I can. That might be insane, but I do feel like, especially on Monday nights, folks are more open to just taking a chance on things. And I would not have to time the 10 to add it to my vault. So my thought process is try and get some 10s. If I can get 2 10s, then I'll have 2 mythic choices in my vault tomorrow. And even if they're doggy butt, even if they're just utter dog, they will probably still be better than anything I'm wearing right now in that same slot. Almost certainly. One would hope. But anyway, while I take care of my daily Headless Horseman, while I take care of finding one of those groups, I want to do something a little bit different to start off the stream. And again, like I was saying, I want to center Palestinian liberation. I want to center a perspective that I think is very critical. And I want to give a huge shout out to Noah Sampson, who has been using his, not inconsiderable platform, 500,000 subscribers, to elevate Palestinian voices. And this is his latest. Israeli settlers are coming for Gaza. Hear the people of Israel in their own words.
I just think we need to kill them, every one of them, and that's it. And if not that, because the country will not let that happen, the government. Just the least we can do is just kick them out of our land, because this is our home, this is our land, and we deserve it.
Yeah, I think colonialism gets a bad rap. Like, genocide is bad, but colonizing places that are genocidal and they have bad ideology, it's good to come in and correct their views.
Sound like you're advocating for ethnic cleansing?
That little girl, by the way, just basically said bar for bar what Asmongold said. What Asmongold genuinely believes. You know, he served his 14-day suspension, theoretically cleaned a couple rooms in his house, and when he came back, immediately played Twitcher terrorist. I take Asmongold at his word when he says what he says. And he may have to backtrack or otherwise rephrase it to be able to keep his capital, to be able to keep his position in his organization, to be able to keep making money. I don't believe for a second he misspoke. And these little girls aren't misspeaking either. They're saying exactly what they genuinely believe, what they were taught to believe by their parents and their uncles and their siblings and their society.
I don't think so, because Palestinian isn't an ethnicity, it's an ideology, and it's an ideology that says that they want Jews dead, and so we want them as far away from Jews as possible.
As the Israeli military begins its third attempt at ethnic cleansing northern Gaza, Israeli civilians are preparing for their shot at capturing real estate. You would assume that because everything we're about to look at is in violation of international law, that they would be conducting these meetings in secret. They are not meeting in secret, though. In fact, they are openly advertising it, broadcasting it in the media, and doing so with direct support from the Israeli government. Last week, Daniela Weiss hosted this event in Masaf Habazak, just miles from northern Gaza.
Also, you might have heard in the news a few months ago about a supposed anti-Semitic protest taking place outside of a Jewish temple, a synagogue, a few months ago. That's not what that was. That synagogue was hosting an illegal land sale fueled by Israeli settlers. And that's what was being protested. News media conveniently, most of the time, did not bother to mention that. Israeli settlers are the people Noah is featuring in this video.
Gaza.
Do you feel like this is your political moment?
It's not a moment. It's the beginning of an era.
Weiss is one of the heads of the Nakala Settlement Movement, a West Bank settlement group, comprised of and endorsed by some of the most powerful people in Israel. And this group has turned its colonizing gaze to the settlement of northern Gaza. From a young age, the children of these settler movements are brought up to believe that Gaza is their rightful home, and that there's only one way to reclaim this home, which is by cleansing it of the Palestinian people already living there.
When you have a cut in your body, and that cut, it has an infection, you have to take out the infection. When you take out the infection, then it'll be clean again.
There's a concerted effort in Israeli media to try to portray...
Yep. That's literally ethnic cleansing.
These settlers as some kind of extremists, ones that adhere to a fringe ideology. However, among Israelis, the idea of settling the Gaza Strip is becoming increasingly popular.
There is some reliable polling that suggests that between 25 and 40% of the population here supports some form of settlement inside Gaza. The awful trauma of October the 7th attacks have pushed those figures towards the upper end.
I love the implication of what he said there, which is that ethnic cleansing is some kind of trauma response, as if their genocidal ideology would be fixed if they just went to therapy. Unsurprisingly, this push to settle Gaza also has a lot of support from within the Israeli government. Itamar Ben-Gvir, Israel's Minister of National Security, is the strongest ally of this new settler movement. To give you an idea of the type of guy Ben-Gvir is, as recently as 2020, he had a portrait of an Israeli mass shooter hanging in his home, Baruch Goldstein, perpetrator of the Ibrahimi Mosque massacre in 1994 in Hebron, where he walked into a mosque and shot and killed 29 Muslims worshipping there. This guy is who is hanging on the Minister of national security's wall. Also, apparently 10% of Israeli Jews think that Baruch Goldstein is a national hero. There's a fun fact for you, I guess. So what would these future settlements look like? And for that, we can look to the West Bank, where there already exists hundreds of illegal settlements, where they are bulldozing Palestinian homes to replace them with Israeli ones every year. In the past year alone, almost 1,700 Palestinian homes were destroyed to make way for more Israeli settlements. The destruction of these homes, while sometimes done under the auspices of building code violations, is generally done by armed Israeli settlers themselves, often with direct protection provided by the IDF. Armed settlers with the active participation of army units.
And by the way, if press goes there, even American press from anywhere, if press goes there, then they are killed.
Repeatedly cut off road access and raid Palestinian communities, detain, assault, and torture residents, and chase them out of their homes and off their lands at gunpoint, or coerce them to leave with death threats while blocking them from taking their belongings. These attacks aren't new and have been happening long before October 7th. According to Human Rights Watch, settler attacks on Palestinians increased in 2023 to their highest level since the UN began recording this data in 2006. And again, that was before October 7th.
This video shows Israeli settlers attacking Palestinian olive pickers and destroying their property, beating and chasing them from their fields. Ilham shows me where settlers have put straw in her family's trees. They use it to set light to them. Some are hundreds of years old. She says settler attacks have increased since the start of the war.
The level of violence has increased. They have stopped even talking to us now. They just come and beat us. Some open fire, killing people. There is no way they will ever entertain even the thought of a mutual understanding between us.
One of the latest victims of this conflict.
And that's why a two-state solution is a red herring. It is a vehicle by an apartheid state to ensure that there will never be peace. Because the Israeli government's perspective is we will just never accept reasonable terms. We will always keep changing the terms. And as long as we keep the conversation in the terms of there must be two states, then that means there must always be a negotiation. And so their government can always sabotage those negotiations. That's why there must be one secular state.
Not killed in Gaza, but a hillside village in the West Bank. Grief and anger after a 23-year-old Palestinian was shot dead by Jewish settler extremists as they attacked the community of Jit last night.
To make this clear, if you are an Israeli, you can gather your friends, go to the West Bank, and commit whatever atrocities you'd like. Seize homes, shoot at families, burn fields, and you will more than likely have full protection from any repercussions, and in addition, full military support. Settler attacks are rarely even acknowledged, let alone punished. This sort of violence and expansion is viewed as more of a feature than a bug of the Israeli state. The more Palestinians they drive off the land, the more settlements can be built, thus increasing the chances that Israel can expand its borders. It has taken decades of international pressure to even begin to apply generally meaningless sanctions to settlers, like freezing their American bank accounts and barring them from business dealings in the United States. The government itself is taking steps to accelerate this process. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich recently demanded Israeli sovereignty over the entire region at an Israeli conference for American evangelicals. Israel must free itself from wrong concepts and make an unequivocal Israeli statement to the Arabs and the entire world that a Palestinian state will not be established through the establishment of new cities and settlements deep in the West Bank and bringing hundreds of thousands of additional settlers to live in them.
It's a lie. It's a canard. It's a red herring. It's a tactic that they have used to ensure that the peace will never come, that there will always be Cassius Belli to engage in their disgusting war.
Sovereignty would allow Israeli control over Gaza for an indefinite and inevitably endless period of time. Just like in the West Bank, settler terror mobs would descend on the Strip in an attempt to strip the last shreds of dignity from the Palestinians living there and clear space in the rubble for more, newer, illegitimate Israeli real estate. This open violation of international law is only possible because each time the Israeli government moves to further legitimize these settlements, the United States, its most powerful ally, makes empty appeals to its concerns while taking no tangible or material steps to actually stop them. None of this would be possible if not for direct support from the United States, with groups like Keep Israel Safe, who fundraise for these settlements.
And no matter who wins in the general election for president tomorrow, this is not going to change. So no matter how you vote tomorrow, the machine does not stop.
Settlements and send it to Israel directly.
Nahalal gets support from a number of groups in the U.S., including AFSI, Americans for a Safe Israel, which co-sponsored a recent webinar on the return to Gush Katif.
There's few things I can think of that are less safe than setting up a neighborhood illegally in an active genocide zone. In a way, this could also be understood as settlers acting as human shields for the IDF. The closer and sooner these settlers can move towards any of the fighting, the more of an excuse they have in their minds to ethnically cleanse Palestinians further and further south. This movement is supported by wealthy Americans, but according to Vice, their anonymity must be protected.
There is a very strong support from very prominent, from very, I would say, wealthy people, wealthy Jews.
In the U.S.?
In the U.S.
Can you name any names?
No, I cannot. No.
I would be willing to guess that this protection is less about hiding their support for the Zionist project and more that they are violating international law by funneling money directly into groups that build these illegal settlements. And again, to get an idea of the types of people we're dealing with here, the funds raised by these groups don't just go to the settler movements, they also go to the IDF and the sniper units specifically. This is probably the most direct way you can send your money there to kill kids, given the IDF snipers' long and storied history of clear, deliberate targeting of civilians. This past year, you saw dozens of doctors all report multiple instances of treating children that had been shot directly in their hearts and skulls. That's the snipers, and that's what these people are funding. Unfortunately, it's looking like these settlers might have their way, as Israel's general's plan for northern Gaza is currently in full effect, despite the US's impotent gestures to withhold military aid if they did it. The safety of the people living in Gaza has reached an all-time low, and it's only going to get worse. The general's plan also ramps up Israel's intentional starvation efforts to an extreme degree. Hundreds of trucks have already been turned away daily by the Israeli blockade. And then days ago, you saw that UNRWA, the largest organization providing that aid, was banned from operating within Israel by the Israeli government. This move has been described by human rights groups as a death sentence for the people still alive in Gaza. 83% of required food aid does not make it into Gaza, which is up from 34% in 2023. This reduction means people in Gaza have gone from having an average of 2 meals a day to just 1 meal every other day. An estimated 50,000 children aged between 6 and 59 months urgently require treatment for malnutrition by the end of the year. It is becoming increasingly likely that Israel will remain unimpeded in its mission to ethnically cleanse the north of the Gaza Strip, and in doing so, clear the way for settler access to Lebensraum and the expansion of its illegal occupation. In 1948, the State of Israel was established after over 700,000 Palestinians were ethnically cleansed from their land and homes, in what's known as the Nakba. These settlers have, for the past year, consistently and publicly called for a new Nakba, and unless the world does something to stop it, they will get what they want.
Again, I really appreciate Noah Samson. I'm a little choked up. I really appreciate Noah Samson using his robust platform to center the Palestinians in this conversation. And I was in part inspired to do this because I saw the ghoul Matt Miller, that's the American State Department's own Matt Miller, laughing. So Noah alluded to in that video a 30-day period of which we are in, where ostensibly, if Israel does not reverse course, we will withhold weapons. Not withholding my breath on that one. But I saw this disgusting ghoul.
They've failed to implement all of the things that we recommend in that letter. Now, that said, we are not at the end of the 30-day period, and we are in conversation. It's not the end. It's not the end of the semester. You don't hand out grades in the middle.
I suspect that the levity is a little bit inappropriate.
No,
but look, you guys say they haven't done enough, so it's a fail.
Laughing.
We are not at
making
the
jokes
end of where we are able to make an assessment. But I can tell you, the situation has not been good enough for some time, and the situation has not improved sufficiently in the 21, 22 days, whatever it is, since we.
We're not going to do anything, but it hasn't
There's
improved.
a week or so to go until we reach the end of the period, but there is much more that we need to see them do.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. Cracking jokes while children die. using our tax dollars, you know? But as I said, it's not just a military industrial machine. It is capital, which is why I wanted to follow that up with latest from Good Work. Who's buying our elections?
Over the last decade, a particular breed of mysterious money has taken over campaign finance, eroding our political process on both sides of the aisle, and is set to break records in this year's presidential election. And it comes with a fun name that I'm told isn't racist. Dark money.
Dark money.
Dark money.
Dark money groups.
Dark money is flowing.
Dark money. There's much too much money that flows in the shadows to influence our elections.
Good point, Talking Foreskin. Admittedly, folks, when I step into the political ring, it's normally in my capacity.
I definitely also wanted something that would give me a little yucks after that. Definitely not yuck worthy video. But again, I just really appreciate that Noah is using his huge platform to center Palestinian voices. And after seeing Matt Miller laughing like a fucking Dracula, I was inspired to use my own, much tinier platform to do likewise, to kick things off today.
As treasurer of the National Chillers Party for the proliferation of pontoon kickbacks. But with the presidential race concluding in just a few days, I figure what better time for me to plow my snout into the steaming pile of feces and cash that's become our mainstream electoral system. 'Cause I'm a little pretend journalist piggy. And I'm about campaign messaging right before an election. Citizens United sued, and soon the case was at the Supreme Court, which ruled that while Citizens United is an organization, they're also a group of individuals. Therefore, preventing them from airing their film, that's actually a violation of their First Amendment rights. The same would go for other types of organizations like corporations. Ain't that right, Craig Holman from the think tank Public Citizen?
So the Supreme Court, on its own initiative, turned this small case into a major case where they ended up ruling that corporations shall be treated as people and they can make unlimited independent expenditures in campaigns.
They can make unlimited independent expenditures in campaigns. Corporations can't directly give money to campaigns. That's considered bribery. And Citizens United didn't change that. What the Citizens United ruling allowed for is for corporations to give money to outside political entities. Entities that push certain messaging that might align.
Man, these illustrations are really helping me understand the point as well. This is fantastic.
With a certain candidate, but don't technically campaign for that candidate.
The groups that really stick out in terms of outside spending and dark money in particular are super PACs and 501c4 nonprofits.
That's Anna Masolia from the campaign finance watchdog Open Secrets. Of the two groups she's talking about, you've probably heard of super PACs. They run those ads that feel like a cross between a student film, World War II propaganda, and the dialogue parts of pornography.
Kamala Harris supported defunding our police. As a mom and grandma, that's terrifying to me.
Trump says Harris is a radical. I don't buy it.
If Donald Trump weirds you the out, then do something about it.
Democrats are dialed in on one thing: banning our nicotine pouches.
Because again, they technically don't work with campaigns. Super PACs can take an unlimited amount of contributions from basically anyone
out
or
there.
any organization. And while super PACs have to disclose their donors to the Federal Election Commission, which is the regulatory agency in charge of enforcing campaign finance law, some of the groups super PACs take money from don't have to disclose their donors, including 501c4 nonprofits, that second group Anna mentioned earlier. 501c4s are one of those groups that don't have to disclose who gives them money because they're technically supposed to spend most of their cash on, quote, social welfare, not politics. But despite their legal missions to drum up money for their respective causes, there are a bunch of ways for them to impact political elections.
For example, they may spend on what are called issue ads, where they feature a candidate in the ad and they want to educate people on how amazing this candidate is on a particular issue, or how terrible this candidate is on a particular issue. And because they avoid words like vote for or vote against or the equivalent, anything that would expressly advocate for the candidate, they not only don't have to disclose their donors to the Federal Election Commission, in many cases they don't have to disclose their spending either.
Which means that if a 501c4 pays for an ad that says,
Dan Toomey will nuke England so they finally know who's boss.
Well,
Toomey for
that kind of makes you want to vote for him. Like,
meaning
yeah.
against the rules. But if a 501c4 paid for an ad that said,
Dan Toomey will nuke England so they finally know who's boss. Pretty cool, right?
that doesn't count as political
cool,
campaigning.
right?
It counts as social welfare messaging, so you wouldn't have to let anyone know
great.
which Winklevoss twin financed it. And while 501c4s can't explicitly ask the super PACs they donate to make a certain ad, they often work pretty close together.
There is very little stopping someone from giving money to a 501c4 that may be affiliated even with a super PAC. So you can have a super PAC where the same people who run the super PAC create a 501c4 nonprofit. It can be run by the same people, out of the same office, using some of the same resources.
So if I were a billionaire who didn't want certain people knowing that I supported a particular presidential candidate, I could find a 501c4, give them a bucket full of money, which they would then give to a super PAC to fund a Facebook ad that destroys my grandpa's brain, and no one would ever know. Totally straightforward.
Fantastic.
Literally within
Great
the
country
first
we got
year
here.
of 2010 of the Citizens United decision, we saw outside spending by outside groups, nonprofit groups, corporations, and what eventually became super PACs increase 427%, literally overnight. And it's just gotten much, much worse ever since then.
No diggity. Let's crunch the numbers, Craig.
No
By the
diggity.
2010 midterm elections, right after
You got to
super
bag
PACs
it
were
up.
made legal by Citizens United, there were about 80 of them up and running. Today, there are over 2,000. In the 2012 presidential election, super PACs spent over $600 million. In the 2020 election, they spent over $2 billion. Damn, and we don't know where a good chunk of this money came from. Super PACs lean into this secrecy by naming themselves generically patriotic things like Concerned Americans for Freedom and Opportunity, Freedom Works for America, People Who Love America, or the I Love America Super PAC. And look, I can understand wanting to make an anonymous political donation. If my neighbors knew how many times I cut a check for RFK, I'm sure they would stop inviting me to Happy Hour Topgolf. They're animal lovers. But it's not mom and pops dropping spare cash into these things. The majority of super PAC funding comes from folks who got real cash to flash.
The super PACs are funded by just a handful of very wealthy special interests. They're throwing billions of dollars into the election just from a small handful of donors.
Indeed, in just this year's presidential election cycle, 96% of the money given to super PACs by individual people comes from the top 1% of donors. These roughly 6,000 people have contributed over $1 billion. And that's on top of another roughly $1 billion that super PACs have received from just 100 wealthy groups. And while I'm just focusing on super PACs in this video, you should know that there are a bunch of other groups with nuanced differences from super PACs and 501c4s through which wealthy individuals and corporations can donate money to impact elections. You can only put so much in a YouTube video, you know what I'm saying? So to recap,
I do know
we
what
have
you're
these
saying.
shadowy organizations that can take unlimited donations and essentially have become vessels for wealthy people to drop their cash and crank
I let
out
myself
ads
get a little
trying to
low there.
sway American voters. Groovy. But despite all of this shadiness, at least we have that
I'm gonna let
one
this go off
golden rule
first,
that super PACs cannot
and then
directly coordinate with political campaigns, right? Right?
The issue of coordination between candidates and super PACs comes down to a really important legal question of public communications.
Sean Cooksey is the chair of the Federal Election Commission, the regulatory agency for enforcing campaign finance law that I mentioned earlier.
I could have healed
Public
myself up
communications is a
there.
term
I
in
didn't
the
expect
law
to take
that
any
says
incoming
these
damage.
are the kinds of communications that cannot be
And I guess that's probably
coordinated
on me.
between a candidate and an independent group without it being a prohibited
I could have dropped a
contribution.
self-heal to
that
top myself.
term includes broadcasts, TV, radio, newspaper
hurt.
ads,
That's
billboards,
a hurty
and
one.
other things that we consider public political advertising.
But Sean's colleague, FEC Vice Chair Ellen Weintraub, points out that
the coordination regulations are just riddled with loopholes at this point. And part of the problem is they were written before super PACs existed. And I have on numerous occasions proposed to my colleagues that we really need to update these regulations.
Yikes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Sounds like Ellen and Sean have some stuff that they need to sort
be
out
good
by
to
the
do,
water
yeah.
cooler. Many of the loopholes through which super PACs and political parties coordinate are almost too stupid to be true. I mean, This is Dan Toomey level dumb shit. Like sometimes super PACs will just hire former campaign staffers or have candidates attend events that they host. Other times campaigns will upload B-roll online for super PACs to then use in ads. Campaigns will even put their talking points on their website in a big red box as a way to signal to super PACs that this is the language they want in their ads.
Hey, check out what we want you to say, bro. It's on the sign.
In many cases, they're giving them all of the different ingredients for an ad, and they just have to put it together based on their instructions.
So if you're scrolling Instagram at 2 a.m. and you happen to see a political ad that looks like it was created by a campaign, it actually could very well have been funded by an anonymous billionaire, written by a former political staffer now working for a super PAC, which is operating outside of the disclosure rules campaigns have to follow, yet the ad was still created using footage and language provided by the campaign itself. And legally, that doesn't count as coordination between super PACs and campaigns. Now, originally, most dark money went to Republicans, since it came from corporations that tended to support a more conservative economic policy. But since 2018, Democrats have decided to fight fire with fire, going band for band and finding their own corporate daddies, launching a blitzkrieg of dark money that is...
And you might think to yourself, if you were raised in America and never really thought too much about it, well, isn't that good? Like, okay, yeah, the ruling sucks, but we're never going to get it reversed if we don't get Democrats in power. So isn't it good that they're now also going band for band and fighting back against all the Republican dark money? And I would ask you to just remember back, like, literally 30 seconds ago when that nice lady said, yeah, you know, I've been recommending for a long time that we change this. And then remember who's in power, like right now. Like, the election tomorrow is supposed to change that, but as far as like who's in power right now, and they're not changing it. So it's that thing where it's like, oh no, it turns out that when you pass a law that allows capital to just easily buy one half of your country's two political parties, the solution is not then also allowing capital to buy the other half to then have a WWE style fake political arena where there are no differences. It's just the same money. You know, that AC/DC banger, let me hear the money talk. We don't have politicians. We have sock puppets for the money. So yeah, I guess it is pretty cool, pretty sick that Americans have two different flavors of the same corporatocracy to choose from.
It's overtaken Republicans in some cases.
Dark money is a bipartisan disease right now. Some billionaires are liberal, some billionaires are conservative. Everyone is a beneficiary of dark money except the American voters, of course.
Which brings us to today, where a record amount of undisclosed cash is set to prop up two candidates who themselves campaigned against dark money to advance their own political careers.
They have these things called super PACs. Nobody knows what the hell they are, what they mean. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It does not represent justice.
Damn, that's an ancient Trump clip. That's from like a decade ago.
Fueling elections.
They want to take these people like little puppets, and they want to say, you do as I told you because I gave you $5 million and you better do it.
That does not represent justice in America. We've got to take that money out of politics.
And yet, each party has decided that the only effective way to conduct a campaign in 2024 is to do so with a whole lot of hushbucks. The main player supporting Harris is a super PAC called Future Forward, which is associated with the 501c4 Future Forward USA Action. Founded by former Obama campaign staffers, Future Forward operates in intense secrecy and has spent nearly $500 million to air ads that promote Democratic messaging as of a few days before the election, though that number will probably grow. Meanwhile, a number of different super PACs have been supporting the Trump campaign, also creating ads that target crucial voters in swing states as the election approaches.
Everyone's feeds right now are just being flooded with all sorts of bizarre content. Some of it pretty tame, and then some of it is far-fetched and wild.
Kyle Tharp. Yeah, I know the guy. He writes about online tactics and trends in politics. Because of the anonymity of their financiers,
yeah, I know the
and
guy.
Other political organizations often feel free to do shadier stuff than the campaigns they support would.
Good example is one prominent PAC on the right is advertising in Arab American areas of Michigan right now.
Ooh, Thundas. Thank you for your resub. We are doing a 10 right now, by the way. We're just casually pugging 10s because we're like a really big deal and do 10s for fun with random strangers because we're a sicko. Thank you very much for the resub. I have an update on the sub badges and emotes. I have gotten back the uncolored artwork for them.
Target change.
And so they are just now going to coloring and final approval, and of course me paying for them. Oh, we caught a few bodies there, unfortunately. I could have probably prevented my own death there by turtling, but I didn't expect that much incoming damage. Anywho, there will be, to complement your sub very soon, some very exciting Deke Fam flair. You'll be able to use in other channels as well, and I hope you will flex my emotes in the T&E channel. Yeah, I think because we died there, we didn't get the thingadings, and so we're not breaking through this guy's shield, and so we're gonna die here. Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen here. So the way this boss works, by the way, is that he drops these void orbs that you need to pick up in order to be able to do enough damage to get through his shield, especially in a 10. And I believe they also put a dot on you. So, of course, if you pick up a couple of them, you do even more damage to the shield, but you also take more of a dot. And then you need those orbs to be able to do enough damage to break through his shield. So, thank you very much for your resub and for your loyal support, Thundas. I hope you've noticed that I've made you a VIP. And when the Deke Whale emote is available, you will be one of the members of my community that it salutes because you are a certified Deke Whale. And I'm very grateful for your support. And because tomorrow is the American election, and because I had the unfortunate displeasure of witnessing Matt Miller of the U.S. State Department laughing at dead Palestinians, it's a bit of a churlish way for me to put it, but I don't think he really deserves my charitability. I just felt like opening up my stream on being a little bit political. So we watched the new Noah Samson video that talks about settlers in Gaza. Oh man, that's bad, catching a body already. Don't love seeing that. And then just to kind of cool off from that subject matter, we're watching the very funny people over at Good Work talk about who's buying our American elections, because indeed it's definitely not a matter of right or left, up or down. It's just the money. It's not even the military industrial complex. It is just the money. Those with the money are giving us nice little WWE style blood sport. Yeah, we really can't afford to lose anyone because we're not going to have enough damage to break through the barrier. But yes, since I won't be able to help myself tomorrow during the election, watching the election, opining on the election, probably lamenting the election regardless of who wins. Unfortunately, at least when it comes to the United States president, there will not be very much difference as far as how the nation is run, as far as the Palestinians are concerned, and as far as, like, I would say the majority of the world's population. You know, I talked about this a little bit as well at the start of the stream, and I'll admit I've totally stolen this concept from Hassan Piker, but a lot of us, if we're able to watch Twitch streams, we're pretty lucky with our spawn point. We were fortunate enough to spawn in a place not being directly impacted by the violence of maintaining empire. And any one of us could have very easily had a very different spawn point. And so there, but for the grace of God go I. If me and everyone I knew was being destroyed on a daily basis by American weapons, I would want Americans to acknowledge me as well. And then, of course, after something so heavy, we have to have the funny people over at Good Work kind of walk us off that ledge in the way that they do, and we'll be meandering back to World of Warcraft content and other stuff tonight as well. The order of business tonight, I've got 2 10s so far on the week, 2 immaculate, gorgeous 10s, and I'm very, very hopeful that I'll be able to get 2 more tonight. As you can see, I was able to get myself into a 10 pretty easily. Because it's Monday night, there's going to be, at least I hope, a preponderance of so-called no-leavers, where folks are going to just send their 10s with anyone who'll do them, because we got to get the no-leavers done. And that's where I thrive, baby. Get me 2 of those, and I'll have 2 mythic slots in my vault for the week. Got my mitigation up. Oh, my God. I'm going to just pop my turtle here to try and buy my healer a chance to top me up. Okay, we made it through that phase. Let's keep going. And so if I can secure 2 mythic level slots in my vault, that'll make me very happy. I'll be able to then gently ease myself into the next reset with a smile on my face. And I'll be able to let my sweet little babies into the stream room. We've been letting the babies in the stream room more and more lately. They definitely make it so we can't do keys. We can't do keys while the babies are in the stream room. But there have been things we've been able to do. And you are most welcome to lurk. A lot of the T&E community are certified Deke lurkers, and we welcome them. But yes, back to good work.
Those voters that Kamala Harris is super pro-Israel, and then they're going to Jewish voters in Pennsylvania and telling those voters that she is super pro-Palestine. The more people spend on one side, the more the donors are going to freak out on the other side and have to spend more money to combat that.
Yeah, I didn't have any more mitigation. That was it for me.
I think most Americans are just really tired of getting flooded with this much and this type of political information in the final days.
I don't know if we can save this.
Slaunch, Kyle, but if this arms race of muddy money shows no signs of slowing down on either side of the aisle, I'm wondering, is there any way to reverse all this? Maybe one day we could, I don't know, overturn Citizens United and go back to a world where our politicians were bribed in much cooler ways, like by the mafia. Well, unfortunately, my friends, that decision lies with Congress. And I wouldn't hold your breath waiting on Congress to decide anything, because then you would die. But you should also remember that many of the lawmakers who could fix these problems are themselves receiving dark money. So it might not be in their best interest to get rid of it. And if you've got a phone, well, you better hold that sucker, because super PACs aren't just involved in presidential races. No sirree. They're actually even more successful at applying these tactics to local elections.
Because it costs a lot less money. And local elections are a lot more impactful to very specific constituencies. Indeed, these 2 goals are not incompatible. It is not in any way contradictory to have big business want to both make federal elections more chaotic, more similar, give us fewer choices, while also being radical at the local level. These 2 concepts are very much interchangeable, because people become activated at the local level and then want to spread that activism federally, and they are not permitted to because of what we've just talked about.
Running ads in less famous congressional races where voters might be even more
Let's see
susceptible
if
to
Lust can
misleading
make the
information.
difference.
Now all of this comes together.
I was
going to
hold it for the next boss, but
look at our electoral system.
since we're firmly in
Dark money
no-leaver
is no longer a
territory.
problem for political campaigns. It's the solution. Each side has decided that their best shot at winning comes with embracing this dark new world of anonymous financing, even when most Americans agree that big donors have too much influence on our elections. And you can see it in the way that these organizations blatantly manipulate the voting process. A recent CNN report showed how thousands of Americans with dementia were tricked into donating to PACs from both parties. One group of wealthy Republicans has reportedly financed groups that are looking to challenge the outcome of the election should Trump lose. lose. Elon Musk was raffling off $1 million a day to people who supported his super PAC in certain swing states before the DOJ told him it's probably illegal, shutting down his dreams of completing the presidential election's transformation into Mr. Beast's Amazon Prime game show. Though his dreams of buying faster regulatory approvals for future Tesla projects by bankrolling Trump are alive
Crazy
and well.
how those spawn super close together. That's insane.
In trying to get their candidates elected than maybe millions of other citizens. I think we can do better for the American people, and I think we should.
Yeah. Maybe the American people do deserve better. I mean, if this is going to be our system, let's at least be honest about it. Maybe what we need is a president who's not afraid to wear their billionaire bankrollers right on their sleeves. Someone who will get up there and say, fuck it. I got all my money and my entire political agenda from Mark Cuban, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, George Soros, the Koch brothers, the guy who runs Home Depot, and a bunch of random shell companies financed by Russian oligarchs. And to the average voter with a medium level of wealth, I say, gargle my balls. Sounds like an all-American slogan to me. For good work, I'm Dan Toomey.
Well done, Dan. Another banger from Good Work.
Not here at the National Chillers Party for the proliferation.
We might have just a little bit of dead air here because I'm not in the best position to change
everyone who
videos.
helped make this video possible.
But that was just the palate cleanser I needed, just the aspertif that I needed. After remembering that we live in a profoundly sick society. Okay, we killed too many of those at once. Crystal interruption for 4 millimil. That's unfortunate. You hate to see that. Anywho, let's wrap it up with some RM Brown on the political front.
Hey.
We'll see if the group holds after that.
Hey, what's up, man?
I don't think we're getting this one. Team has been called. I hate this place has been called. Thank you for trying has been called. GG, good luck on the next has been called. Yep. There it goes. There it goes. Alas, alack, anon, anon. That will happen in tens. Because when you get up into 8s and 9s with my level of gear, they become pretty easy to complete. If you're just looking to grind crests, if you're just looking to farm up Valor Stones, and you've got 625 eye level, then an 8 or a 9, that's a good time. But a 10 has some chest hair, and depending on how things go, depending on how people play, because it is still a collaborative effort. And sometimes I'm the weak link, right? That's I guess the cool thing about group content. Why I don't get upset when other people make mistakes, because often I make mistakes as well. Anyway, what were we doing? Right, we were watching some
Arun Brown.
Wait, who?
Arun Brown.
I've had him as a guest on the stream, by the way.
Hey, what's up, dude? Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up, man? You alright?
Hey, man, it's me, YouTube.
Oh, guys, sorry.
Oh,
Hold
no.
on, it's YouTube. I gotta take this.
Not YouTube.
Hey, man, you really gotta spice up these videos, man. You can't just open like that.
Okay, what do you want me to do, YouTube?
Let me think. That's how I think. I do choo-choo. Ooh, I got a good idea. What if you locked 20 people, like your best friends or something? You lock their asses in a warehouse or something, and I don't know, the first one to get out alive wins $50,000 or something. Oh, that would get some clicks, man.
Okay, I'm listening. What, they gotta fight to the death or something?
Nah, I didn't say that, man. You said that. You want those clicks, though, right? You're out here trying to get those clicks, though, right?
Alright, if you say so, YouTube, I'll do it.
That's what I thought. Shut the hell up.
Peanut the squirrel. I'm having a hard time. Sensation.
Right.
Fans, you know how it is with people with pets on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Social media.
I do know how it is, as someone who also has pets on the internet.
Embraced it. It's not the only guy. You see squirrel.
Oh, Peanut the squirrel.
No,
I saw the
not
story and I thought to
Peanut.
myself,
It's demented?
I saw the headline. I was like, oh, that's funny. What does it say here? Instagram famous squirrel named Peanut seized by New York State authorities. Okay. Yeah, I know, guys, it's complicated because like you out there, I was picturing him in little handcuffs, sitting in a little jail cell, FBI questioning his little ass.
He would be so lucky. Unfortunately, he got this.
But then this story takes such a sharp turn. Wait, before we get into this, check out this commentary here from Chris Cuomo. Here we go.
Social media embraced it. It's not the only guy. You see squirrels, raccoons, all kinds of stuff, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
do.
You know, you see squirrels, raccoons, all this kind of crap. I don't know what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? Oh! People making a big deal about this peanut. You see this kind of crap everywhere. Squirrels, dogs, I don't know.
Oh! And then the squirrel bit one of the investigators.
Oh, Christ.
So that's what they say in their statement about why this happened. They then
Yeah, and as we all know, police never lie ever.
kill the squirrel and the raccoon because that's how they test for rabies.
Oh, no.
This was somebody out to get me. We moved to a small town to start a
Oh, God. Rest in peace to Peanut. But when I read this headline, I was not
Rest
expecting
in
a bunch
peace,
of conspiracy
Peanut.
theories to come out of this. Peanut did have a lot of dirt on some very powerful people. Okay, no more. Rest in peace, Peanut. Sorry. Okay, I don't know what the hell to believe with this Peanut thing. You might say,
I'm having a hard time.
Let's now turn to the most flawlessly accurate source of information, Reddit. The squirrel and the raccoon are two very different concerns. I agree that in a vacuum, it was absurd to euthanize Peanut, the squirrel, to test for rabies. Blah, 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 blah. Except for the brand new raccoon this man decided to turn into a social media pet. Raccoons are statistically meaningful rabies carriers. Okay. I like the way this comment starts here. I never heard of Peanut before.
You know, she wasn't a fan.
It sounds like this guy saying, oh, everybody thinks Peanut's the shit now.
I never heard of him.
This guy seems kind of jealous of Peanut.
Yeah.
Man, everybody loves Peanut. Probably wasn't that great. I never even heard of him. But here's a competing theory right here. But I've got to say, the dude that rescued Peanut seemed to be awfully interested in all the money
right, let's run
that
it
the
back.
squirrel was bringing in. He's exploiting the labor of that squirrel.
Another 10
Peanut.
stone
I'm
vault,
not convinced
another
that his motives for keeping the
opportunity.
squirrel were completely altruistic. Hey, shut up, man.
What? Shut up.
It's a bit sus that they also had a raccoon friend that had been with them for only months and they rehabilitated his ass as well. It seems like maybe they intentionally brought on a raccoon for fresh content. Hey, no, come on, man. Okay, here's another guy. If you guys think Peanut and Fred being murder is bad, wait until the New York State government stormtroopers come to euthanize the rest of his animals. Okay, what does this guy say here? My God. Ban me and downvote.
Kind of wild how no one's mentioning that police in America kill like upwards of 10,000 dogs every year. Like, hold on, let's just do that math real quick. 10,000 dogs, 365 days a year. That means every day in America, police are killing fucking 28 dogs a day. And yet everyone's out here pouring it out for a squirrel and a raccoon, who also did not deserve a die, by the way. No animal does. Animals are precious little angels. But, you know, police kill 28 dogs a day, guys. What are you guys doing?
Help me if you want, but what a bunch of pieces of shit you... Whoa, gee. Hey, calm down, man. You all are. After reading your comments, you pass me as the kind of person who would just throw their dog in a garbage can and don't even care if it's dead. Whoa, gee.
All right, maybe a slightly better comp this time. Instead of a pally tank, and pally tanks are largely considered to be the weakest tanks in the game right now, we've got a druid tank. That's pretty sick. Instead of a disciplined priest healer, which, you know, disciplined priest healers have very, very fun gameplay, but shamans are the top dogs right now. We've got not only a shaman, but a Volpira shaman. Fantastic sign. And of course, we're rounding out the DPS with, instead of a warlock and a paladin, it's a mage and a paladin. Got a good feeling about this group. I think we can get this one. And the best part is, because there's a mage in this group, I don't have to worry about lusting. So I can just keep my kitty in my pocket and pew pew to my heart's content.
Hey, man. Yeah, so I don't know who's right about Peanut. You know, but he was connected to a lot of very powerful people. Okay, no. Rest in peace, Peanut. Sorry.
And now that Trump's rhetoric has veered into such dangerous territory that it is right now currently under investigation,
It's weird.
I feel compelled to share the question I get asked more than any other when I'm off this set, which is this. Where is George W. Bush?
Doing that.
I understand better than most that these days he chooses.
Yeah, why is he still alive? Why isn't he in The Hague? Where is he so we can arraign him?
To speak through his actions, through the incredible work of his library, to his daily dedication to democracy and honoring our country's wounded veterans.
Oh, okay. What the hell is this? Oh, this is MSNBC. I've never actually watched MSNBC before. Is it all
That's
like
probably
this?
for the best. You're not missing
Is this
much.
what it's like? It's not all like this, right? This has
it's
2.1
close.
million views. In one day, I was reading through the comments and they're like, wow, this is really, what's the lady's name? Nicole. They're like, you nailed it on this one. She's like, George W. Bush is an amazing guy. He's doing amazing things and he really needs to come out. He needs to come out and tell Trump to shut the hell up or something. I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't really paying attention.
I used a lot of
This is a
defensives
real
to live
bizarre video
all that
because, like,
damage.
George W. Bush was kind of like the first Trump of my lifetime. You know, most people are like, what the hell is this? That guy's insane. The guy's a right-wing nut job. What is he, starting a war now? He's starting a war, and it's pretty clear that he's lying about this.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh my God, are we on this quick of a decline?
Yeah, we killed
You know
a million
what I mean? In 4
Iraqis on a
years, is this
fucking
lady
lie,
gonna come on the
dude.
show and be like,
Fucking
look,
the
Trump was a
classics.
great president. Trump is doing amazing things now. He was great. He really needs to break his silence and speak out against what President Mr. Beast and Vice President Patrick Bet-David are doing. The last person to drown wins a Lamborghini competition is wrong. We need to go back to a time when respectful presidents like
This
Donald
tank's got
Trump
some chest hair. I'm
didn't
enjoying it. I
didn't
love
do
a tank
stuff
with
like
some
this.
chest hair.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me focus in on this. What is this? Let me be mindful of what this is right here. Oh, people have been posting this all over the Reddit. The R.M. Brown subreddit. Go check it out. Right.
Oh,
with
nice.
it
You got
on
a
there,
subreddit
probably.
now. That's
Okay,
not
this is another
demented.
Trump thing.
Love you, buddy.
It's weird.
What's he doing? All right, let's check it out.
He's giving it the old hawk tour. Good for him.
Okay.
He's a fan.
All right. He's doing a little bit of this.
Bye-bye.
All right, what do we got here? What is this? What Jeffrey Epstein stuff? Epstein
Nice.
tapes. Yikes. Okay, what do they say?
Amazing.
Here we go.
So how do you...
Unfortunately, not the Epstein tapes you'd be hoping to hear. These ones are likely him just grandstanding for a known author who holds on to stuff for forever. Like, everything Epstein says here, in my opinion, should be taken with a grain of salt, because why would he not fucking just straight up lie, right? Why would he be honest?
You know this. That was supposed to show.
Okay.
So I need the dump.
It's
Give me the
weird.
dump.
Okay. Okay.
It's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
Who is this from? This is some guy named Michael Wolff. He's a reporter, and he's got all these recordings of Epstein from 2016. I guess the first question is, why didn't you release these sooner? It's a little weird. That's a
Yep,
little...
that is a little weird.
Weird.
This guy,
That is a
Michael
little
Wolff's like,
weird.
what, people are interested in this guy? He's like a finance guy or something. What, there's other stuff? But I saw a lot of headlines about this part where he says that Donald
famous
Trump was his
financier.
best friend for 10 years. You know, I don't know. I don't know from politics, but seems like not the best endorsement, you know, but what do I know? But what seems like is getting kind of buried in the headlines from this recording, only 16,000 people watch this? What seems to be buried in the headlines on this one is like the rest of the video, he's like, we were best friends, but then the rest of the video, he's basically saying that Trump would like entrap people on the phone. Like Trump would be with a guy and he would be like, hey, you want to cheat on your wife? And the guy would be like, yeah, sounds cool. And they would be like, your wife's on the speakerphone. Which, you know, who knows? I'm not sure how to verify this unless somebody testified or something. But either way, it's weird that this guy's like, you know, like rich, powerful people, they can trap people, they can get dirt on them to use. It's kind of, that's, you know, that's interesting. Also, this is kind of
weird
right here. Yeah, what the hell is that? Maybe it was a secret mic or something. It doesn't seem like it. What the hell's going on with this? Okay, here we go. Here's another election-related weird video. Oh, it's RFK.
Nice.
They're great. Check out what the hell his ass has to say. 200,000 views. Okay, not bad. That's not important.
He said he wanted to end the forever wars and bring that $200 billion that we've sent to the Ukraine home to rebuild America.
Okay.
He told me that he wanted to end the censorship and end the surveillance and the propaganda.
Yeah, right, buddy.
Oh, man.
And I got a bridge here in San Francisco to sell you, bucko.
This video just kind of popped up for me, and I 2x'd through it. And when I came to this part, I was like, this guy's like especially insane. I don't know how this guy does this, you know? He's doing this kind of like anti-establishment, anti-war, anti-propaganda, anti-censorship thing. So this is like all over mainstream news now. This is PBS. Basically the same day he gave that speech. Today, leaders of 15 UN and humanitarian organizations, including Oxfam, the High Commissioner of Refugees, the American head of UNICEF, and the World Food Program and the World Health Organization said, quote, the situation in North Gaza is apocalyptic. Honestly, these articles are hard to read. Yeah, this seems especially bad, and I don't know how this guy does this, where he's like, look, all this stuff, forever wars, propaganda, and censorship, he's like on the exact wrong side of all that stuff. If you watch the interviews this guy's been doing for the past year, more, he's like on the wrong side of all that stuff. And you can even look just
no, not RFK, bro.
And not RFK. This corrupt merger of state and corporate power that has turned our regulatory agencies predatory against the American public.
Okay, clapping for that.
And he said that he wanted to make America healthy again.
I mean, you know, both of these political parties lie about this stuff, but his just seems bigger and more blatant, you know? He's like doing this speech, 250,000 people watch this, and he's like, we're gonna do more regulation. We're gonna root out corruption, you know, to help people. We're gonna help normal people by doing that. And at the same time, there's like 1 million videos where it's like Elon Musk is gonna get in there and deregulate everything. Then he goes into this long thing about how people are so unhealthy nowadays and our food's so unhealthy, you know? And he's like, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that. No details. You know, that would be like a huge... Like,
if you don't give details, you can't break promises.
I don't know, regulatory thing? You know, no details, but I imagine this is what it's gonna be. RFK is gonna fix all this unhealthy crap that's going on. I think it's gonna be a course. It's like a $60 recurring payment course you can take of RFK.
I get the impression we're trying to not pull these guys as well, or if we do already be around the corner, I guess we'll see if they come.
I mean, based on like basically everything
they
else
are
we've
going
been
to
hearing
come.
besides this speech,
they're gonna come.
You'd be surprised if that's the solution. $60, you can watch me get all sweaty.
I feel like this is a little hairy. This pull right here, a little bit of a hairy pull.
Ooh, okay, well there we go. There is some good news though. I'm gonna be at the majority. What the hell is this goddamn thing called? The Majority Report. That's this one.
Toilet. Wipe your ass with them.
Whoa. Maybe I
one of the best independent sources of news, in my opinion.
I think they're streaming it on their channel.
Majority Report.
I could be lying about that. But tune in Tuesday, if you dare. There's only one thing I could say about that stream.
It's demented?
Well, anyway, guys.
YouTube is suppressing our show.
Okay, it's not the best day, but hey, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Hey,
it's fine.
It's fine. We're still doing it. Love you guys so much. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey, guys, it's me, YouTube. If you want more videos, I mean, you're scratching the surface, you know? Check out this... What the hell am I trying to say? Oh, go to Patreon. Subscribe on Patreon for as little as $2 measly per month. You get every video. You're missing videos every week. That's... Ugh.
It's okay if you don't go to his Patreon. With his permission, I leak these content here all the time.
But the videos you're missing, oh my god, they're amazing.
Friend of the show, RM Brown.
What's the guy who does this show? Whatever his name is. He's like giving away garbage bags of money to make people do humiliating things. That's hilarious. Anyway, guys, I gotta get the hell out of here.
Continuing to find the only good use for AI. Bye-bye. In this case, the AI voice doing his outros to do the plugs because he finds them personally disdainful to have to do. Distasteful. Fantastic. Perfect use, in my opinion. Oh, ooh, hold up. We got a few bodies there. What the hell? What the hell? a few bodies on that one. That was scary. I nearly died. I may die yet. I'm on the edge. The edge. But I'm still pumping. I'm going. Alright, cool. Yeah. Paladin's back. Everything's fine. Everyone's smiling, having a good time. Alright. Can I do this without dying? I guess we'll find out. Alright, finally.
This week in War?
Finally, some World of Warcraft content. And I love Souls This Week in Warcraft videos, because I never know what the hell's happening in this godforsaken game. What's happening?
Hey, it's Soul, and you can help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more WoW coverage.
Alright. Like. There.
And catch me live when I'm streaming.
Nope.
So as it turns out, we need to do a third review of how to farm up bronze celebration tokens for the 20th anniversary event, but I have some good news. It's going to be very, very easy now to farm up more than enough to collect what you want, and towards the end of the event, you can probably trade these tokens in for Time Warp badges. So let's review. There are huge buffs to tokens, mostly directed towards Season 1 activities. Activities like the Theater Troupe and the Spreading the Light event, they give 8 tokens, up from 2. So outdoor people can collect like around 70-some tokens if we include the world boss. And if
hooray for more mole person content. That's me, baby.
Event, if that happens to pop up, that is. PvP weeklies were also given the same treatment. Defeating Onsurek on Raid Finder and higher difficulty also give 15 tokens. With only a few hours per week on this, players will easily unlock the 100 token milestone that lets them hard farm tokens if they wish. That is, these are token sources that can continually be farmed across multiple
Gotta be careful not to kill these too close together.
The amounts here are kind of small compared to the updated sources of tokens, but they are worth paying attention to, especially towards the end of the event when you're like, oh my god, what do I do? It's going to be too late. On a single character, you can keep farming the Time Walking dungeons and the Codex of Chromie scenario. On a per character basis, you can take on the world bosses, Karak's Revenge, and the Blackrock Depths bosses, who all drop some tokens. The last boss drops more. Not to say the event is dead, but the approach to it has definitely become a more passive thing, where it's not necessary for folks to pay close attention by farming up events. They can, play normally and just drop by the Caverns of Time to get the XP and the rep up, or to redeem tokens. What's also
or do the mount-off
event,
the only fun
the
one.
The upcoming 1107 patch, which we speculate will come by mid-December. There are actually more sources of tokens to support the original drop rate. So, I guess at this point it's like, hey, extra Time Warp badges, or at least even more catch-ups for players coming into this late. The
Which one
trading
are we
post is
killing,
also
bros?
up and
Come on
running
now.
since last week for additional passive gains of cosmetics, including at least one.
Keep pulling up my menu by pressing
this month
escape
features a bonus
out of terror,
as well as the return
out of
last
sheer
year's class
terror.
sets and arsenals. With such a huge addition, I think we should kick up some dust and tell Blizzard to at least
I'm so
have these
scared.
sets stick around for
I'm
another
so scared.
month.
I got nothing,
Keep in mind,
bros.
these class sets are
I'm
not
dying.
even class sets
I'm
anymore,
passing
with
on.
those
That's
restrictions
over
being
for me,
lifted.
fam.
So what this means
It's
is
over
if I
for
want my
me.
paladin
I hope you'll
to
kiss
use
me
the
goodbye
Shaman's shield, yeah, cool.
when I
That
die.
ought to get people interested in picking up multiple sets. The Document Fair is also in
there it
town in
goes.
case you're not sick of fast leveling. Pick up the bonus reputation and XP bonuses here, and don't forget to have your profession characters drop by for some easy skill ups and knowledge points. There's also just a few more days left for Hollow's End, so make sure you collect all
They
the
might be able to
rewards you
clutch
can,
this out
stack the additional bonus
as far
for
as
gains,
tossing
and of
out 2
course,
battle
good
reses
luck
here.
getting the Horseman's
No,
Mount
we're gonna go
and
for the
Orphis.
reset. That's fine.
TBC Time Walking is also happening, which should overlap with Classic Time Walking happening until January. The rules haven't changed, there's just more stuff. Complete 5 Time Walking dungeons for champ gear, and Black Temple is in play for more champ gear and a hero piece for completing the quest. The only thing we don't know yet is if
It's
the
a
Time
tough
Walking raid will
boss,
drop
to be
anniversary
sure.
tokens like Blackrock Depths, and I'm not 100% certain if the new Time Walking scaling is in place. We'll find out this week. It's also another week for the Catalyst, and the full Spark should be available. Expect another small bump in profession traffic as players make some easy gear for max level alt who haven't been riding the Delve gearing wave since the start of the expansion. A small tip, and I don't even know if this is a great tip, but if you have a good number of alts who you don't care too much about getting super high-end gear, I say collect gear on these characters anyway for the sole purpose of unlocking Transmog, in case you haven't been lucky. Warbound gear counts, the Blackrock Depths raid counts, including what you can buy from the vendor. You can run Bountiful Dells at the right level and use keys for a chance at gear. But if you're patient, also the next patch appears to have a vendor where you can buy veteran gear with zone-specific currency and perhaps use the catalyst on those. I'll have more details as we get closer to launch. And starting today is a big Xbox promotion where you can buy snacks for points and turn them in for rewards. I don't have the strats because I couldn't even find product to buy for myself, but here's the basics of what we know. You want to look for Mountain Dew, Doritos, and Rockstar packaging for promotional language like this.
Almost
According
caught
to
bodies
their website,
there.
there are codes on
really
the Doritos
dangerous.
packaging. For drink cases, there may be codes on the boxes. For individual drinks, you gotta open the drink and then look under the caps or the tabs. Redeem the codes that you find on this Mountain Dew website here for points, then turn those points into whatever. In our case, it's going to be World of Warcraft stuff. The only things I'm not sure about yet are the point value of these products, and if redeeming points will turn into codes that can easily be transferred, or if we need to, like, I don't know, link to a Mountain Dew account, because, that's a thing, link that to our Battle.net account. In other events, Gravity lapses the brawl, and over in Mythic Plus World, the affixes ought to be Fortified, Tyrannical, and Voidbound, completing a second full rotation. Voidbound is the one where an ad...
Not to sound too health-pilled, but I do kind of wish they would partner with, like, a sparkling water company. Because, I love soda, but I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to spend my money on soda. It's not worth purchasing high fructose corn syrup.
Spawns, and it's got to die super quick to get a cooldown reduction.
We're scary. We're scary.
Good luck. This week might be a little bit quieter on the War Within side as Cataclysm Classic moves ahead towards the Firelands, starting with tougher dungeon options followed by the raid. This ought to be a good time to shore up some alt leveling and collecting, and letting the trading post and anniversary rewards kind of fall in your lap. Of course, as new developments arise, I'll be sure to cover them. Help keep us thriving by liking this video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Let's have Bob close us out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.
Hey love, listen to the fun, come and join me. We're gonna do collecting.
I'm glad he enjoys making the Bob songs. I wish I enjoyed them. But they're very valid. They're artistic expression and should be celebrated as such.
Suddenly it's not because I bought things. Check me on my badass broomstick mount. Got my tendo, then your mama can count them.
There's a lot of music I don't like. And when you don't like something, you don't just say, that shit sucks, that's bad. Soul, stop doing that. I don't like the Bob outros, they're bad. You're saying it's not for me. I bet there are a lot of people that like the Bob outro.